Hello, hello, hello. All right, today we gotta start, okay? We are starting with module number 1. So if you are new to me, you may not know that I've been founder of the Walk It Free method, the Heal, Connect, and Level Up method, right? And what exactly is that? What exactly is the Walk It Free? Walk It Free is becoming the person that you need to be to live the life that you want to live, right? It's take the steps towards a life you won't regret is what I say all the time. And you hear me saying that, but what exactly does it mean? Taking steps towards the life that we won't regret. When you break this down for a minute, it is you having to create a vision, building this life that you want to live, and then purposefully figuring out what steps you need to take. Okay. It's a very big movement. It's a very big thing. And it all started, if you were brand new to me, I don't know, let me know in the comments. But it all started back then when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. Just to quickly tell you a little bit of story. When she was diagnosed with cancer, I started realizing that there were a lot of things that she just wanted to do but couldn't do anymore, right? This cancer came on like that. It was just stage 4 out of the sudden. We never even knew that anything was going on. And out of the sudden, she ended up with this cancer and her life was practically over. So until then, she had been striving. Yes, she has been living her life. But like most of us, she's been doing life with the expectation that it's going to be something that she's going to do forever. And unfortunately, that is not how it went. It did not went like this for her. And it's also often not like that for many of us. So back then, looking at all of this, I started realizing, no, I do not want to live like this. I do not want to be miserable every single day. I do not, if I would die today, I would want to know that I have done every single thing I could to live my best life today, right? If out of the sudden I would get diagnosed with something, I wanted it to be to the point that I can say, up till this point, I can be proud of myself. And that is where the Walk It Free mission actually has originated. And from that point on, I started realizing, well, I need money. If I want to do all the things that I want to do, I'm going to need money. And so many of you are in the same boat, right? We realize, man, we don't have the retirement savings that we want. So maybe later on, we are like, everybody dreams about this retirement you can do and all the things. But if you don't have the funds at that time, then you're not going to do much. And trust me, I've seen my grandparents live on $300 a month. And it was awful. It was awful for her. If she would have not had us helping her, doing things with her, she probably would have not had a great life, doing a lot of things that she wanted to do, going on vacations and stuff. And so very quickly, I realized that money was something that was very important. And I know that's why a lot of network marketers, online entrepreneurs are doing what they're doing, because they are wanting to get extra funds in. They want to maybe start their their retirement up, or they are needing to get extra. There's a bazillion different reasons why people do what they do. But I've realized helping online entrepreneurs to get in touch with their mission, their vision, and their values, and actually being able to take the steps, take the action, have the clarity, having confidence, to do these things, and mindset mastery. So confidence, clarity, and mindset mastery is what's required for you to get where you want to go and have it count, basically, right? So in having said that, so many of us are talking about the next level, talking about, oh, you need to do this X, Y, and Z to get to the next level. But see, before you get there, what you need to do is you need to learn and figure out where you are right now. What is your starting point? And in my Freedom Mentorship, that's where we are going to start. We're going to start at the identification of your starting point. where are you at right now? And trust me, your company is not teaching that. They are not teaching you how to rebuild your life. They are not they're teaching you how to do lead generation. They are teaching you how to do brand development maybe, but they're not teaching you how to rebuild your life by finding out your starting point and then working your way through that, okay? And that is the first roadblock that so many entrepreneurs have, is they know how, but they can't get there because they are still obstacles before they can start taking action, because they are not with the right identity of the person that would go for those dreams, right? Those roadblocks that you're experiencing right now, what keeps you from taking the action that you need to take, is likely a misalignment in your identity. And that is really, really important, to start looking at your identity, your beliefs, your thoughts, where you are thinking you are right now, how you're thinking you about yourself, how your money mindset is, how your limiting beliefs are, all these things. We have to acknowledge our conditioning. Who taught me to live this way, right? Let's say your home, for example, your home life. If you are not disciplined in there, if you are having laundry everywhere, if you're not having little cleaning habits, if your home environment is messy, your brain is probably also going on to be messy. Your everything along the way is probably going to be messy. Now, that's not to criticize you. I'm not saying this to put you down at all, right? When we have kids, we are in different seasons of life. Sometimes you are able to do all the things together because you have resources. Maybe you have somebody doing the laundry for you. Maybe you have somebody that helps you with other things. I wasn't that lucky. It was me and my three. I didn't have a lot of people helping me with stuff. And what I had to learn over this time is that when my home, for example, wasn't organized enough, my brain wasn't organized enough to create the magnitude that my vision was at. See, they encourage you when you first start, they always encourage you to go for the big hairy dreams. They're telling you all these things that, oh, go for this, go for that, go for this, but they're not teaching you how to deal with the emotions, the failures, the shadows that are coming up, for when you start realizing like you cannot operate at that level yet. Okay. That's where they're not catching you when you fall. And that's, I feel like, where a lot of especially beginning network marketers are failing, because they're dreaming big, and then they start realizing there's a misalignment between who they are in their life, what they are thinking about themselves, and who they need to be. See, if you want this big, huge, multi-million-dollar business that everybody dreams of, you're going to have to level up. You're going to have to become this person that actually can do this. And if your home is a mess, and if your life is a mess, and your habits are out of control, you are not likely going to become that millionaire maker, right? Or that millionaire person, or whatever you want to be. You're not going to be that person just yet. So you need to start where you need to start, okay? In your environment, you need to acknowledge, where's your conditioning? What am I believing about? What does it still serve me? It's so complex that is why, I've been helping my one-on-one clients to catch up on some of their belief systems and some of their thoughts, because it's just so complex. For example, take paper plates. Some people grow up thinking paper plates are the way to go. Some people grow up thinking ceramic plates are the way to go. That is conditioning, okay? Whatever you've been taught to do, that is where you are probably going to take it, right? That's what those are the habits. This is what you're doing. This is how you're living. Now, think about it. If your business requires you to have a very fancy setup, ceramic plates will be the one. If you, however, don't think good about ceramic plates, what do you think? you're going to start serving paper plates, but the clients are expecting ceramic plates, right? So there's a misalignment. Does that make sense? I mean, this is really broad in this short time that I have talking to you about about it right now, but this is what conditioning is, okay? This is where the way how we are brought up, the way how we are dealing with things, this is where it's coming from and where it's having an impact. So to become somebody that you need to be, to create the results that you're actually wanting to, you need to start somewhere. Now, if you are trying to be, if you're somebody that has never exercised, never done anything, and you're out of the sudden trying to do a 75 hard, that is probably not going to be successful. And I had to learn this the hard way, because consistency is something that works its way through thoughts, through actions, through preparations. Like, it's a journey to become a consistent person if you are not naturally like that. And you know what it needs in a cold market business, whether or not you're insurances or whether or not you're network marketing or in real estate, it doesn't matter where you build. You need to be consistent, and you need to have certain ways of doing things. So you need to have clarity, and you need to have value that you're bringing to the table all the time. But if you are not consistent in your daily life, in your daily habits, in your daily way how you're showing up, it will show and will have an impact. And it's such a big journey if you are not a consistent person to get there, that you need to do it in small little steps, small little chunks. But that small little steps can't be random. That small little step has to be planned and prepared. Okay, that is why my mentorship program is the best one you can pick. Is an entire year, because you go quarter by quarter by quarter by quarter, and you are starting to figure out, okay, where do I want to get to? How am I going to get there? There is planning involved, and then you take small little action steps. And it's so important to get that data and recognize and work out along the way to even become consistent. And I'm not talking to all of you who are fantastic at taking action and who are having on top of their recruiting games. Yay for you. I am talking to the people that are actually struggling of showing up for yourself every single day, because that is when you're like me, for example. I grew up being a chameleon. That was and it's a super skill right now. I can adapt really quickly, but it's also a curse, because, see, I had to adapt so fast to my environment. And I dare to say, so many of you with narcissism in your families, you are probably very similar to me. You had to learn how to dodge the bullet a lot. You had to learn how to read the room, and how to be careful, and how to, you have trauma, and that's something that's messing with your business, and you're not recognizing it. You are having trauma. You need to learn how to figure out to be calm, and how to take strategic action. And that is a journey, friends. That is a journey that takes a little bit of time. That's why mentorship and coaching is really important for you, if that is your goal, if that is what you want to do. So we need to acknowledge the conditioning. Okay, so who taught me to be this way? Whose approval am I seeking? Why am I the way how I am? You have to observe your automatic patterns. You have to figure out, what am I doing on autopilot? Something that's subconscious. These are really important things. And then also, what comes with all of that is the shame, right? Shame is huge among trauma survivors. We have to learn how to forgive ourselves for how we showed up, how we did things when we were surviving. See, when you start healing, and again, this is not a linear thing, right? It's not like you start here, boom, you're like there. Sometimes we go up and down, and some days we're having super great ways of doing things, and then next time for me, for example, my healing process within the last 2 years has been like, I'm super sharp, I know exactly where I want to go, and then out of the sudden I'm completely blank. And then sometimes I'm thinking to myself, what was I even gonna do? And I had to learn that is normal for me. That is me recovering. And I had to learn that when my nervous system gets too stressed, I shut down. I shut down and I need a moment to reset myself. I need a moment to figure out, calm your nervous system down. You are safe. You are not in this environment anymore. You are safe. And see, then you can start taking actions again. I only know that about myself because I had to learn this. I had to learn and heal over years. And now I can accelerate your learning process if that is something that you are struggling with too. If you find yourself to the point that you are very clear and then you're out of the sudden overthinking and then everything just goes gray, it could be a trauma response to something that you don't even know. And I want to be very clear here. Sometimes I hear, I don't have trauma. Trauma does not need to be that somebody was beating you, or that your family was awful, or that you have been bullied in school. And trauma can be a lot of things. Okay, trauma can be a lot of things. Trauma can happen subconsciously with people that didn't even mean it to inflict on you. Trauma can be as little as maybe you gotten through a divorce. Maybe it's as little as your parents were stressing about money. It's those patterns that are running in our generations. It's small little patterns that make people go or not go. Okay. And we have to learn how to let go of that shame and start reconnecting with our body, because our body really knows who we are. Our body knows and remembers, and they're gonna, like the brain and everything, the muscles, everything works together to keep you safe. So sometimes when you start freezing, or you're running away, you're procrastinating, you're doing all of these things that we are struggling with, it's because your body is reacting to try to keep you safe. And it's from a perceived, it doesn't have to be an actual, but it's a perceived danger of some sort. And that danger could be as simple as us falling out of the good graces of certain people if we act in a different way. It's very complex, you guys. It's very complex. But this is what the level is where you need to start when you want to make something happen, and you start realizing like, hey, wait a minute, there's roadblocks, there's obstacles. I'm not working as good as I could, or my lead generation doesn't work, and I don't find the people, and I'm not posting regularly. This is your indication. Anything going wrong in your business, anything you're feeling you're not doing good enough, this is where you need to start. You need to learn how to be you again, to figure out what is misaligned. How am I thinking about certain ways, certain things? Because thoughts are going to create feelings, and feelings are going to create your emotions. And from there, you are going to act. Okay. So if you're not acting, there's always a thought that's behind it. All right, moving on. So we are now to stop. So first step is number one is healing. Second step is connecting. Getting curious, not critical, is the key here. Okay. What do I actually like? When you try to find yourself, you need to figure out, what do I actually like? What lights me up? See, don't be like the runaway bride that that doesn't know how to like your eggs. And see, often when we are kids, we want to please our parents. We want to do things the way how we get the attention. We want to, and it carries on. It carries through all the relationships. It carries through your job and your boss. It carries through your partners, to your friends. Every relationship. We are social human beings, right? That's what we want. We want to be accepted. We want to love. We want to be loved, right? We want to do all these things. But in order to do that, we have to sometimes be a chameleon and act in a certain way. Now, some of us are not fortunate enough, and I would dare to say a lot of us are not fortunate enough to grow up with unconditional love. A lot of people that I know are dealing with narcissism, right? And you are surrounded with people that didn't do you right. And that's often these entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs that say, hey, wait a minute, I want to do something bigger and better, but now you're stuck because you haven't dealt with your trauma. You haven't dealt with the fact that back then you were a chameleon, and now you need to be you again, and you need to stand yourself up on the stage for everyone to accept you, right? That takes confidence. So remember, clarity is first piece, right, of getting where you want to go. Clarity, you got to be clear. But then now you have to develop confidence. How do you develop the confidence? You have to develop it by connecting with who you are and your worth, finding your self-worth again, identifying your own values, not the values that had somebody been given to you. It's your own values. And then from there, you're also needing to find your peace, your authenticity, right? We throw this around all the time. We say, oh, your authenticity, blah, 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 all the time. But what does that really mean? See, what it means is finding yourself back, taking the road back to self, right? Taking those small steps of identifying, what are my values? What are my standards? Do I even have standards? What do I like? How do I like my eggs? How do I like my food? How do I like? We answer these questions in the restaurant, but what about our home? How do I like my home? How do I like my relationships? How do I like my bed? How do I like my laundry? How do I like my life? Right? We don't ask these questions usually. And we're also not realizing what drains us. We're not thinking about what fuels us and what drains us. What do we not like, right? What do we not like? Make a list, you guys. Make a list. Left, right, left, right. What drains me, what fuels me. Reclaim your inner voice. Really become you again. Speak your opinions, even if your voice shakes. It's okay to stand yourself up on the stage and start speaking your truth, even if you don't know if somebody's going to listen to you, right? And that's a very scary thing because, even me going live, showing you, talking to you, maybe you're laughing about me. Maybe you're thinking I'm ridiculous. Maybe you've been watching my journey and you said, yeah, you know what? I feel like this woman should be having way more followers. Maybe this woman should have had way more X, Y, and Z, whatever your opinion may be, right? But you got to remember, healing takes your time. Healing takes time before you can come up, and it's not linear. And see, I spent a lot of time in my career healing. I took a lot of time practicing, trying things on for size, becoming curious about, what do I even want? How? Because see, when you don't, how are you going to help in the magnitude that I had in my vision? And my vision is, I have a huge vision, but that's not my first step. At the end of the vision, what Walk It Free, the movement, is going to become, it's going to evolve and it's going to evolve and it's going to evolve. But what I can tell you with is, it starts with funds. It starts with money, and that is where you are at too. You want and need money in your bank. So it starts there, right? So we got to focus in on one small little thing. We got to make money work. We got to make our businesses work. This is where it's at, right? So when we reclaim our voice, we need the voice that we are using for our business. We need it to be authentic. We need it to be passionate. Why do we need this? We need this to be intrinsic motivated. Okay, we have to be intrinsically motivated. If we are not intrinsically motivated, meaning internally motivated, no one is coming. No one is going to talk. No one is going to hold you by the hand. And I tell you, I get freaked out sometimes about that still, because I'm thinking to myself, especially going through separations and like being worried that I'm going to be all by myself, I start figuring out to like, oh my gosh, no one is coming. I'm going to be by myself. So that means I have to do the things, and it can be liberating on the one side, and you can be all excited and say, this is amazing. But then you can also think to yourself, like, no one is coming. So this is a tipping point between stepping into your authenticity and getting excited about freedom, but freedom is also coming with a price. Freedom needs to have confidence. Okay, in order to be free, you have to be confident that you are going to figure it out, that you are going to be all right, that you are going to find ways, that you are going to be resilient, that you are going to be the person that will make it. That comes with belief. You have to have the belief. Now, remember what I talked about in the beginning. You need to heal your identity. How can you build a belief if you don't have identity? Think. You have to have that healed, and you have to get aligned with that so that you can actually have enough belief to make your vision come true. Okay? It's so important, you guys. It's so important. So you got to reclaim your voice. You got to surround yourself with mirrors of reflecting back. Who are you? Who are you? Where are you at? Where are you at? And I tell you, stop the shame. Shine the bright light at what is going on for you. Where is everything at? Shine the bright light. That's what you must have. If you don't have that, you're going to just put a mask on, and that mask is going to come off one way. The mask is going to come off when you are hiring people. The mask is going to come off when you are going to have customers, and they are realizing like you're not all that. Okay, that's when the mask is going to come off. So you gotta have a mirror around you. So find those people that are loving you around through your messy middle. Find those people that are helping you become the person that you need to become. Be around those people that reflect your growth. Okay, that say, I understand and I hold lovingly your wounds, but you need to also now come and walk the steps. Okay, so that's accountability, right? So that's where mentorship is really vital for you. So if you are not having anybody helping and guiding you through your growth journey, please, I ask you, check out the Freedom Mentorship, $27. Or if you want to have one-on-one coaching and accelerate even faster, I have Black Friday things going on right now. But if nothing, go into the $27 mentorship. It's important. It's important because those are the people that are going to hold you accountable also. Yeah, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to say, I can hold your wounds. I can see it. I can heal it with you. I can connect with your vision, but we can also hold you accountable so that you can take those steps. Okay, because that is what's required for you to level up. That is required. Leveling up is the next step here. Okay, that is creating boundaries. Because you know what happens every single time you have awareness, every single time you start loving yourself and respecting yourself, something happens. Life is going to happen. Someone is going to try to jeopardize your time. Somebody is going to do things. You've got to learn how to set the boundaries, and you've got to learn how to hold the line, right? Clarity, confidence, and then mindset mastery. Mindset mastery is you are holding the line. You are so clear on what you are trying to create. You are so clear on who you want to talk to and what you want to do, that you can, even through ups and downs, you become this anchor. You become this anchor that is able to make things happen. Okay, that is where you need to. That's why you have to have boundaries. Boundaries are like your anchor that keeps you where you want to be, even when life gets rocky, even when situations are getting changed around and schedules are getting changed around, and your kids are having something, or melanoma happens, or whatever surgery happens, or right? When you have boundaries, when you have discipline, when you have a vision, you are going to be able to hold the line, and that is what's important. Now, those routines that you are creating along the lines, those routines will determine whether or not you're becoming or you're unbecoming. Okay, morning rituals, for examples, or goals and habits, those need to be made for you in your season. See, I talked earlier about the messy houses, and I talked about, this. If you are in a messy house with little babies, you should not have a vision that you now are creating a bunch of online events or home events or parties or whatever. That is probably not realistic, and that is probably not something you're going to do. Right? So that goal would not be the ideal for you in the season that you're in. So you've got to find ways that you don't jeopardize your full vision, but make it fit within the season that you're in. Because remember, you can start with the end in mind, but you cannot start at the end. Okay. And in order to live every single day happy, every single day aligned, every single day thinking, you know what, I'd be okay if I die today. I have put in all my big rocks first. I have all done the things that I wanted to do. that I get to do today. And then if God wants me to be waking up tomorrow morning again, I'm going to take the next step. But today's steps I did take, right? That's discipline. Today's steps I did take. These steps, this inner discipline, that happens when you are aligned, clear, when you have confidence, right? Your boundaries, and then you start having mindset mastery, meaning you hold the line. You have an anchor, and you know, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. From there, you're going to then dream again, and every quarter that you are going about, you can start making sure you're aligned still with the yearly goal, right? We're coming up to the year end. So it's like I said, a yearly goal. Where do I want to go within next year? Make your plan. Align, dream, figure out, take those small steps. That is what it is. You rebuild, not like your life, your business, everything, right? You rebuild not by force though, you guys. You rebuild with alignment, and that is where it's at. Okay, this was 30 minutes now. It's time for me to hop off. If you need something else, if you have questions, please drop them in the comments. Hit the subscribe and the like and the follow button. And I hope to see you in my Freedom Mentorship. And if you want to really dive in and start rebuilding your life, your business, everything around you, right? Then you need to get into my one-on-one coaching, because that is where we can do the deep work. That's where we can really figure out, okay, where are we at with our starting point? How much healing do we really have to do? How much clarity do we need to do? How far are we off from where you need to become to make that vision that you have for your life and your business be actively reachable? See, because the reason why some people are losing and some people are winning is only separated by action, by taking the actions that are required. Okay, you can want to be the best salesperson ever, but if you're not taking the actions, you are not going to become that person. So having said that, I'm going to leave you with that. Hope to see you in my coachings. If you have any questions, there's also a free discovery session that you can take with me, right? We can talk, we can have a conversation about it. If you're not sure, just let me know in the comments, send me a DM, and we'll go from there. Walk it free, friends.